Wolfenstein is back, and it is more of the same. More story, more guns, more explosions, more Nazis, more everything. More everything, I hear you ask? Yes, everything. Really? Does it have more fire-breathing robot dog rodeo? Yes, it does. Before we start, I do feel I need to mention the fact that they had locked the ability to rebind keys, so I had to play on the default keys. The default keys are fine, they're pretty easy to use, but I find it a little difficult to play with the shift and control as sprint and crouch. It's a personal thing, but it does affect the way I play. It's not a big deal, and you might be thinking, so why mention it? Well, because this is the sort of game where movement is really important, and it did affect my feelings towards the game. I didn't feel as smooth, I didn't have as much fun playing, and it probably put me in the wrong frame of mind. And if I seem a little nitpicky on certain aspects, you should bear in mind that I pretty much was in full-on grumpy old man mode. And if that happens to be a problem for you,
get off my lawn.
Having got that out of the way, let me just say that my first impressions of this game are actually very positive. I have a feeling that if you're the sort of person who enjoyed Wolfenstein New Order, you're probably going to enjoy this game. I know I am looking forward to it, and I am definitely going to buy it when it comes out. It felt very familiar, and the best way to describe it would be more of the same with some new stuff. I mean, overall, it still feels like a pure single-player FPS game, true to its roots. You're going to spend an awful lot of time killing Nazis and some moments engrossed in the story. It really is not trying to change the formula much. I can tell you, it looks great. I don't know what they've done to improve the visuals, but I really did love the way it looks. They've done things like expand upon the weapon modifications, so there seem to be more of them, and you don't have to find them now. I think you find weapon upgrades or something, and you can spend them where you want. And a lot of them are quite interesting. Some of them actually have trade-offs, which I love. One seemingly small change that I feel is going to have a major effect on the way you play is what they've done with dual wield. In the last game, you could dual wield certain weapons. You could have 2 shotguns or 2 laser sniper rifles. But in the new game, you can hold different weapons in each hand. So you could have an auto shotgun in your left and an assault rifle or a laser sniper in your right. Of course, this means you can do a lot of combat at mid-range, and then if something suddenly pops up right in front of your face, you've already got your shotgun out and you can dispatch that. I think that's a really nice addition. There is also at least one new gadget type addition. There may even be more. I did see a cutscene where one of the other characters had a gadget, a mechanical hand that could actually do things by itself. But the gadget that you have, or at least that I had in the demo, was something that's in your boots that actually has telescopic stilts that can raise you up a meter or so, and you can reach up to ledges. You can even get some advantages in fighting. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that though. It doesn't seem overpowered, but it feels a little strange. You probably get used to it the more you play, but I can tell you I found it somewhat clumsy to activate because you activated it by pressing jump twice. And I'm a serial jumper, runner, slider, that type of thing when I play FPS games. I'm constantly moving around, and I found myself activating the stilts by mistake several times. So I think it might require a little adjustment in my playstyle, or just getting used to taking a little longer before tapping the jump key. And the other new thing I discovered was you can ride the Panzerhund. You have those robot dogs, the ones that are the size of rhinoceroses that breathe fire. You can actually ride them, which is very cool at first, but I have to say, pretty quickly got a little boring. I think it's a kind of cool little thing. It's a nice addition. It feels a bit crazy at first, but honestly, I don't see it being a major draw for the game. I think you'll try it, you'll use it occasionally, but you'll probably feel better once you get back on your feet and can do your usual FPS gaming. Now, like the last game, it does have a story, it feels very well done, and they tell it through very interesting cutscenes, but I can tell you there's a different vibe in this game. The last game was set in 1960s Europe, and it had that very Cold War feeling to it. This game is actually set in the 70s in America. The characters are pretty interesting, but they all seem very colourful and lyrical. There is a sort of fast-talking, cool element to everybody that wasn't there in the last game.
I'm sorry. Did you need this boat?
Yes, motherfucker.
For example, there is this one scene where Blazkowicz is talking to a rebel leader during a massive battle that had some really fascinating camera work, loads of very cool music that was actually being played by another character in the room whilst another character was shooting at Nazis, and these two were arguing whilst getting wildly drunk.
No, they drafting people like you for their dirty work while they's watching the dollars roll in. You're the pawn, the patsy of tankerous men in Marble Mansion. Well, I see through that shit. Decided not to be a party to it.
Yet here you are, guns in hand, shooting Nazis, just like me. Difference is you come late to the party.
It had a very Tarantino feel to it. It was a little overwhelming. It was very cool, but because I'd pretty much been dumped in at this point, it felt a bit disconnected. I didn't have any connection to the characters at this point or the story, and I felt like I was looking at a trailer rather than being in a movie. So I don't know how this is going to pan out. I cannot tell you if the story is going to work as well as it did in the last one. That, of course, is going to require a full playthrough. However, what I can say is this game is going to stand or fall on its FPS elements, and from what I can see, they are as solid as they were in the last game. The game looks great, and it really is, as I've said, more of the same. If you loved the last game, the chances are you're probably going to want to keep your eyes on this one. I know I'm going to buy it. I definitely am looking forward to playing this game. We'll just have to see, once I've actually got hold of it, whether all of the elements like the story come together.